Hi, this is Mason, and you're watching the 315 with Brian Higgins. Now it's time to start the post-game show. Here's Brian.
Oh, thank you, Mason. That AI picture even kind of looks like me. I mean, the picture's real, but then it moves, and it's like, whoa. That almost looks like a real boy. Well, that'll happen, yep. Georgia Tech, let's write it down officially, 41, Syracuse 16. And, and just another absolute snooze fest situation, right? Just absolute, complete snooze fest situation. Just not a lot good going on. And, that's what we got. Syracuse, just like, the game was over from pretty much the get-go, right? Like, there was no realistic hope for Syracuse once you got down by, any amount of points. Like, if you're going to do anything in a game like this, I mean, look at the way the game started, right? Like, the third play of the game, whichever plays the fumble, the next play of the game, you're on the 1 yard line, and then you go backwards, like a long way backwards, and you get three. We all knew at that point, like, they weren't going to win this game. And I hate to pile on Ricky, because it's not one guy. It's not one guy's fault here that this is going bad, but he's not playing well. He's not playing well at all. And this tells you, like it or not, and I don't think any of us like it right now, this tells us all what the coaching staff thinks about the current state of the rest of Syracuse's quarterbacks. This tells us very actively what the coaches think is the current state of the rest of Syracuse's quarterbacks. They're telling us what, and Fran has said it, and unfortunately it's a road game. We won't have Fran's presser live today. But like Fran has said it, and we have to take it at face value. He's like, hey, I see it with Ricky, right? But like, we see what else is going on in practice. That said, it's 41-16. And unless you're dead set on preserving Luke Carney's red shirt, and I don't know why you'd go out of your way to do that in this day and age of the transfer portal and everything, unless the player specifically requested it. But, and to my knowledge, he hasn't. Why not get him out there for a couple of series, for a couple of quarters, or anything, and just see. Just see. Maybe he's a guy that shows up in games. Maybe he stinks out loud and he isn't ready. You've got to allow it to be proven to be correct at this point. And I'm not saying they're wrong. I'm not saying that Ricky's not the best quarterback on the team, but he's not good enough to win games right now. So let's at least try something else. Even though realistically we all know the something else probably isn't going to work either, and it's turning into a lost season. That at this point, best case scenario is 5-7 if you can sneak out two crappy wins over very bad North Carolina and Boston College teams. Carolina just lost in overtime to Virginia in a stinky game. People, in the chat, and get in the chat. I've got the link pinned top of the chat right now. I just pointed at the ceiling, but the top of the chat could be there. Link pin top of the chat to, if you'd like to join vis-a-vis video call. We'd love to have you on over the course of the post-game show today, but we'll be going back and forth in the chat. Like Collins' quarterback sense. I mean, he's not good, clearly. Not good right now, for sure. You're bringing up names like, I get Carlos Del Rio Wilson is playing well for Marshall now. Carlos Del Rio Wilson, when he played for Syracuse, was terrible. Remember the 4-interception game he had against Boston College when guy at a bar told me he was going to start? Yeah, he was awful. Like, it's the same level. You guys mentioned Zach Mahoney. I love me some Zach Mahoney. The officer was great. The officer had the toughest strength of schedule in the country, like only started against top 5 teams. But he would run an offense more smoothly, even though he lacked physical tools. A healthy Terrell Hunt, certainly better. A healthy Terrell Hunt. Terrell Hunt's problem was not talent. It's just he got hurt all the time. His career was ruined by injuries. Can we do what college basketball is doing? I say this. Let's and this will get people excited. Ricky reminds you of Troy Nunes. Do not disparage the memory of Troy Nunes like that, James McLeod. Do not disparage the memory of Troy Nunes. Just because Troy Nunes ran around backwards like a chicken with his head cut off. Like, he did okay. He did okay. He beat a top 10 team in Virginia Tech that one time when he threw for 400 yards. He did all right. Bill Sharr. But can we do now what Louisville just did in signing a guy that played in the G League for the last 3 years? I think you need to sign somebody that played in the CFL a little bit. Let's go just bring Garrett Schrader back. Yeah, what the hell? His shoulder's fine now, right? Bring back Garrett Schrader. Let's get him in the mix. Let's dial up the Garrett Schrader life again. I'd sign up for that right now. And it's just a brutal spot. It's just a brutal spot for the team to be in because, 1 + 1 = 2. Let's go back to the spring. Order of operations. When people got named starters, when Steve Angeli showed up, they knew they needed somebody else. And then, they all knew. They all knew. They knew they needed somebody else. To their credit, they went and got somebody else. And then, as much as we were all over him for the first week and a half, it turned out that guy was looking like he was going to be pretty darn good in Steve Angeli, and then his Achilles pops. Go back to last year. I said it all season long last year. The team last year was absolutely screwed if Kyle McCord ever got hurt. Kyle McCord did not get hurt, and they were fantastic. If Steve Angeli was healthy right now, I don't think they'd be as good as that, but they're certainly not sitting here at a 4-game losing streak, 4-game losing streak at 3-5. I get these losses haven't been close, but man, it's not like they've been overwhelmed by superior teams in any of these losses. If you had competent quarterback play, you would have been right in any of those games, especially now that the defense is starting to play better. And yeah, I know they gave up 41 today, but I think that you run out of gas in a game like this where it's 3-and-out the whole game. But when your starting quarterback gets hurt and you knew you didn't have another guy, if you thought Collins was the guy in the spring, you wouldn't have gotten Angeli. You wouldn't have been able to convince Angeli to come here if he didn't have a reasonable idea that he was going to be the starter. And now, yeah. I mean, Fran is trying to be as nice to Ricky as possible, but right, there's only so much you can do. There's only so much you can say, right? What do you don't want to destroy, Fran's in a weird spot here. You don't want to destroy the kid. And I'm not saying his confidence or anything like that. I mean, he's not going to be a quarterback of the future or anything, but you don't want to destroy the kid because you like the kid. I would bet more Mitch match, but I don't know just because quarterbacks cost a lot. I don't know the number on this one, but if you told me it was more than that, I wouldn't be surprised. I would bet that would be the low end. So yeah, this is the era we're in right in NIL. This is the era we're in right in NIL. And again, if you'd like to chime in, link is pinned to the top of the chat. Or if you're on your phone, I guess the link is pinned. We'll do this the other way. Because if you're watching on your phone, I'm sitting on top of the chat, which means the link is down here. So, whatever you want to do. I wouldn't be surprised if he's getting $1 million. I don't know the actual number, Mitch, but he was one of, he was in the mix of more intriguing guys in the portal this year. Let's remember back when it happened. Nobody was mad when it happened. We'd never seen him play, but it was okay, it's not McCord. He's not coming in with starting experience, but all right. They got LSU's backup, and why hasn't he been playing? Well, he's stuck behind Jaden Daniels, who at the time was being the best rookie quarterback in the league, and then Garrett Nussmeier, who at various points last year was leading the country in passing. So you're all right, if you're going to be number 2 to somebody, that's reasonable. And then you get him, and yeah, here we are. What can you do? I don't know. I don't know. And some people have said, is Fran still playing him because of what they are paying him? I don't think that's what's happening. Now, I'm sure the thought crosses minds, right? You don't want to spend 6-7 figures and then not get any ROI, but at some point, they got to teach economics right along with football coaching these days. At some point, it becomes a sunk cost. The problem now is, and Jordan and I talked about it, do tune in every Wednesday night at 8, sometimes Thursday night at 8. It will be Thursday night at 8 this week because of the basketball game. Jordan and I doing a new show, Transfer Portal Syracuse, where we talk about all things. Go back and watch the last episode later from last Thursday if you haven't. Clicks, likes, subscribes, all that good stuff. That, like, I don't know the exact donor situation that led to the money that led to Collins. But if you are a donor that footed the bill for that, if you are an NIL person that your primary NIL gig this season was paying for the quarterback, I know the people that paid for Kyle McCord last year were very happy with their investment, thrilled with their investment. I'm not entirely certain if it was the same people. I don't quite exactly know the 1+1 on that this year, but is that going to give you, like, hot stove, don't touch the hot stove again stuff for next year? I don't know. This is the weird new era of college sports that we're in. But man, that was not fun. Again, if you'd like to join and do a little video call, we have that option available for you. Just clickety-click the link at the top of the chat, which if you're on the phone is below me. If you're on a different device, I suppose it could be in other places. I'm pretty sure you can figure that out. Yeah, Randy, I'd say, Mitch, if you paid $1 million, though, like at this point, what does it matter what you paid for him? Like now that we're into the season, it doesn't matter because you needed a quarterback. You went and got a quarterback. Quarterbacks cost what they cost. Then you went through spring and were like, this guy isn't good enough. And then you went and got another guy and he turned out he was good enough. And now here we are. Like, unfortunately, not every contract's a good contract. And unfortunately, there's no way in order of operations that you could have spent that money necessarily better. You watch out, San Diego Q's, you will get burnt. What are you doing? You're on the West Coast. What are you cooking? It's 1 in the afternoon. 1 in the afternoon. What's up, Mike Lindsay? Welcome to the chat. Yeah, game was over early. Like if you were to have any chance to pull an upset, you gotta put on you gotta do something. Sure, Randy. Yeah, we can do that. You're way too relaxed. I don't even want to know what that means, but yes, if you'd prefer to go that route, you may call in without putting your video on. We have that technology as well. We can do those things. You heard 500K? Yeah, it had to be at least that. I mean, whether it's 500, whether it's $1 million, whatever. Like, what's the difference at this point? Neither way is going to save the season. What's up, Brian? You wouldn't let him pass you the salt. Yeah, it could get intercepted by like the weird uncle. It could fly dangerously and crack into the wall. Man, it would be dangerous. You never know with the salt. A burrito? Yeah, this is all very San Diegan of you. Oh man, that's fine, Randy. Yeah, if you want to call in without the video, we can press those buttons too. It's all cool. But I like to make the video option available because I can't just take a phone call. I don't have that technology. What is up, Pastor Tim? All right, so here we are. It's postgame. Syracuse gets smoked by, admittedly, that's a very good Georgia Tech team. And you want to see the difference between these two teams? It's at the one position. We've watched Haynes King play against Syracuse for 3 straight years now, and man, he's been really good both times. All 3 times now. Nearly, that was a wild game in the Dome last year. It was Dino's last game down in Atlanta 2 years ago. And today, Haynes has been good in all 3 games. Haynes King, you want to know why Georgia Tech won this game today? And we're talking about Ricky and the quarterbacks and how it's not good. Haynes King is 24 years old. Haynes King is in his 6th year of college. Haynes King, at one point, going back, was kind of a bust at Texas A&M. Like, Texas A&M had all these high-ranked quarterback recruits, and it wasn't working out. He was there about when Jimbo got fired, if my memory timing works out, right? Like, Haynes King was part of the problem at Texas A&M. Aggies fans were kind of sick of him. They were sick of everybody. So Haynes transfers out, and he landed in the right spot at the right time, and now he's older, and he's better, and all of it, and he's been so good. He is just what you want in a college quarterback. He can scoot. He can throw it accurately. He makes quick decisions. He's getting the ball to his weapons in space. I know Georgia Tech's offense is running well, but at the same time last year, like, McCord's not a runner, but Syracuse's offense was a humming because they had a guy that was a veteran in college and had played before and was good. Now you got a guy that hasn't played before and is on the total struggle bus, just absolutely struggling, absolutely struggling, and I just don't know what I don't know what you're gonna do. Tired on the first series. Yeah, was there a first series? I couldn't tell if it was a cramp or not. What was it, George Rooks that went down? It was like this early. Like we cramping on the opening series of the game. That was peculiar. He came back in, but like the defense, I think, has made some steps. Like it can only hold for so long, though, right? When you have to, especially when you're not getting anything on offense, and it's 3 and out and 3 and out and 3 and out, and you're just not getting anything. It is mentally and physically wearing on the defense. Yeah, North Carolina's not as atrocious anymore. They lost 17-16 in overtime to Virginia today at home. Yeah, I was encouraged by the defense last week for the first half or so today. Yeah, Collins just he doesn't see the field quickly enough. And there's plenty of examples in the game today, in the last month, that look at the 2-point conversion play. I get, did the play matter? No, the game's over. Look at the 2-point conversion play. Villari is running like it's a simple route. He's running a little slant right over the middle. Villari was open. Villari beat his guy off the ball. He's a big dude. He had position. He was open. Last year, that ball is there. It was also like that route. That route was Angeli's bread and butter route. That ball would have been there. In and out, there. Collins saw it, but he saw it after Villari had been open for a good 10 yards across the middle of the field, and then by the time you throw the ball, the defender had time to recover and knock it away. So he found the right guy, he threw it to the right guy, but he threw it a second late. Like, if that ball is in and out of your hands, it's complete. And you had a guy that could do that in Angeli, and you just don't have it right now. And I'd say reasonably clearly, and this doesn't, ruin the future of Luke Carney, but what the coaches are telling us is he's not ready to do that now either. Because if he was, he'd be in the game. Right? If Luke Carney was ready to do that right now, he would be in the game. Throw it to the tight end. I'm saying throw it to the open guy in time. But yes, in this case, the tight end was open. And then, the line's banged up. The O-line's not playing well. It's a whole thing. Fran's struggling a little bit with some of the stuff I wondered last year with limited coaching experience as a head guy, which was none last year, if he'd struggle with. People on social media, they lose their mind over everything. They're losing their mind over Fran right now and blah, 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 and he can't coach and all this. Like, all right, the guy that can't coach went 10-3 last year. The guy that can't coach won at Clemson a month ago and was 3-1. They don't have a quarterback. And here's the difference because they could mention Dino, right? They could do what Dino did. They could do what Dino did 2 years ago. They could do what they did in Dino's last game 2 years ago. They could just say, screw it, and Villari running into the line and, all the stuff they did that nearly saved his job a couple of years ago. And I give Dino full credit for that. Like, Dino knew, he's like, I got to win 3 more games or whatever it was at the time. Made up a new offense in a weekend and went out and beat Pittsburgh in that terrible game down at Yankee Stadium to, keep his job alive for another week. They could do that this year, and Fran has the luxury of this because he's got the 10-win season. He's got, he's early in his tenure. He doesn't have any, he's not going to get fired after this year. There's nothing that could happen to him after this year. He doesn't have to do that. And I think he views, like, why would I do something? Why would I blow up everything just to try to scrape one win now when I'm thinking big picture? And my guess is Haynes King. Haynes King is legitimately 7 years older than Samuel. Samuel, you will bet your bird feeder? Yeah, they won't. They won't. I will not bet my bird feeder. Though, if you want, hang on. We can. Where do I? Hang on. We can. If we need a little, just. A little, we need to make ourselves feel better right now just because everything is terrible And, like just everything is terrible. Everything is absolutely terrible. Ooh, there's no birds right now. Live bird cam backyard. Wild Birds Unlimited. The leaves on the ground. Ooh, a leaf just fell. Leaf just fell. That was very fall. That was very fall. It's quiet out there. Hey, there's been a cardinal. I don't know if it's lots of cardinals or just one cardinal that knows what's good and keeps coming back. I've been getting lots of alerts of a cardinal today, so maybe the cardinal will show up live at some point during postgame. No eagles, Kevin. I have not had an eagle. I think this bird feeder might spring and collapse under the weight of an eagle. I don't know if we're quite eagle weight rated, but yeah. But there we are. It looks very like how fall does my backyard look right now with those colorful leaves on the ground that I don't really feel like raking up or moving. We're just gonna leave them there right now. The birds are too advanced to be Syracuse birds. Yes, they're embarrassed. Any boo birds? Yes, there are boo birds. The Wild Birds Unlimited backyard boo camp. Boo, boo, boo. We're crazy here. We're going to be coming back later tonight. We're going to do we're going to do a post-game show for this basketball exhibition game tonight because what the hell. So maybe the birds will come hang out at night during then. This thing does have like a night vision situation. You can see nighttime birds. I was really hoping a bird was going to just fly by and come land and plop here. Should we? I feel like we should do our Wild Birds Unlimited Big Air Player of the Game right now, and I've kind of backed myself into a corner here a little bit because the tab where I have the stats of the game open is now being utilized for the bird camera. Let's see if I can do that. Anybody have some if we Paulie's just in the backyard just nibbling away. I did see I got a shot of a squirrel earlier this morning. He hopped on and then hopped off. I think he got a whiff of the spicy bird seed and peaced out. So yeah, where it squirrels, get out. Yeah, no time for you squirrels. No time for you squirrels of the Wild Birds Unlimited backyard bird cam. We don't need that. We don't need that. We do need a Wild Birds Unlimited Big Air player of the game. He said. It's kind of, even though they gave up 41, it's kind of got to be on defense. Well, if a bird shows up while we're doing the Wild Birds Unlimited Big Air Big Player of the Game, I feel that would be a good omen. For or of what? I don't know, but I feel it would be a great omen. What do we think? I'm leaning between Deuce Chestnut or Chris Peel. Both had 7 tackles. Deuce had that nice big hit that was a pass breakup. Peel forced the fumble with the rip out on the second play of the game, third play of the game, whatever it was. So what say you, Chad? Anybody have any opinions or another option of our? We've already done Stonehouse this year. We learned new rules today. I didn't know about that ball breaking the plane thing on the punts. That was new to me. I did not know that. I don't know how I never realized college has a different rule than the NFL when it comes to punts and touchbacks. Peel. Yeah, Chris Peel, there was some list that came out yesterday that by whatever metric, Samuel is the top-rated cornerback in the country, and Peel was number 10 by some bad angle. So, yes, Chris Peel, his play did lead to Syracuse having their first lead in October. Yeah, their first lead since the end of the Clemson game. So there it is. Chris Peel, forced fumble early in the game. He will be our Wild Birds Unlimited Big Air player of the game. Be sure to check out Wild Birds Unlimited. They're still open, I believe, till 7 tonight at their locations in Fayetteville and Camillus. 6 tonight? They are still open. And then Sunday time tomorrow, they will be open 11 o'clock to 4 at both locations in Fayetteville and Camillus, where you can go. You can buy this. I believe they have them in stock. You can get the Bird 5 metal bird feeder, and then you can have your own bird camera. Did I just hear a bird chirping? Is that a phone ringing? Why is there a phone ringing near my bird camera? That was peculiar. What's that? Oh, there's a squirrel. Look, a squirrel just hopped out of a tree. What might happen next? We're going to leave that up for a moment just to see if anything interesting happens with that squirrel. Come on, squirrel. Does that mean there's birds afoot? What was that ringing noise? There's nobody in my backyard. What's ringing? Are we about to see weird crime in the backyard? Anyway, yeah, Trip Woody was perfect. So there's that. I don't know. We're going to go Chris Peel with our Wild Birds Unlimited backyard bird cam big air play of the game. Yeah, I'm just leaving. Like, I feel I don't need the whole screen. Let's just see if anything happens in the backyard. What else happened statistically today? Yasin Willis, 10 carries, 76 yards. Yeah, then his last 9 carries were for 35 yards. I don't know what's going on with Yasin right now. Collins runs for 41. Tyreek Hill get a few carries, 23. Will Nixon came up short on that one fourth down carry. Like, that did sound like a phone was ringing, right? Like, why? What could have been happening? Darrell Gill had the touchdown on the first drive of the second half after Syracuse went down the field quickly. Willis did catch 3 passes today, so that's good. Jonte Cook had a couple. I don't know. There's just not. Valari only had 1 catch on 2 targets. I don't understand why they're not working to get him the ball a little bit more. Yeah, Yasin's numbers were kind of inflated, and then, like, full credit to that was Eford, the best player on the defense for, or Eford, pardon me, Kyle Eford. Eford? The best player on the defense for Georgia Tech that made that tackle. But, man, it would have been nice if Yasin could have finished it off. That squirrel's still just hanging out. I get some really fat squirrels. Yeah, the call is coming from inside the house. I get some really fat squirrels in the backyard in the winter, because that tree there, the one with the bigger trunk that you can see, has like some kind of berry. I don't want to call them blueberries, but there are berries that are blue on it, and then they fall on the ground, and those squirrels load up before winter. So that dude's going to be so fat. That is going to be such a fat squirrel, just ready to roll for the winter. And then the northern cardinals who do not migrate are really going to enjoy hanging out at the bird feeder bird cam all winter long. So we like that. We like that. We're going to take this down. Just don't worry, people. We're taking it down for just a moment because I need to check something in this tab over here. But we might be able to go back to it later. We gotta take it down for just a second. I need to check to see if anyone has called and is hanging out on hold. But if you'd like to call in, the link is pinned to the chat. We did have an immediate drop in viewers when I took it down, so maybe I should put it back up. Yes, the call is coming from inside the house. What's going on in this Vanderbilt, Missouri game? They are scoreless late first quarter. That's on the TV right now. Everyone do come back later tonight. We're going to watch I believe it's ESPN Plus or ACC Network Extra or something tonight. Syracuse Buffalo basketball situation. Watch that. Do a little post-game show. Not 9-ish? Get our first look at Red this year. Get our first look at the guys. Our first look at Cayenne Anthony. See if the point guard's taller than, like, yay high. You know, things like that. Spoiler alert, he is. Spoiler alert, he is. Nate George is taller than yay high. So it's good news that Nate George is taller than not very tall at all. So we do have some good news when it comes to that. Should I get the bird cam back up? Yeah, where is Amir from Tampa? Amir was a big caller the first few weeks, but then Amir was very key in helping us figure out this whole process of what we're doing with this whole thing. Very key in the early days of the 315 in the basement. That was before we had the compelling bird feeder cam. That squirrel is still there. And he's moving. Like, this is not a frozen image. He is just going to town on a snack right now. Going to town on a snack right now. So, good for him. Good for him. Just getting after it on a snack right now. All right, what else do we want to get into in this game? And this is the problem with the game. This has been the case for the last few weeks. Like, I don't know about you, like, and thank you all for showing up at the end of the game. Like, I watched the whole game. We all watched the whole game, right? I had kind of zoned out there in the second half. I was stringing cords in the basement to change something up with the lights because I wanted to reroute where some power was going. Like, I had a hammer. Like, I was doing all sorts of stuff because it just didn't. Unfortunately, it just didn't matter. Where last year in Syracuse football games, it's just like locked. Like, second halves of games especially, like, you had to be locked and loaded on the games. You had to be locked in. Could be a pregnant squirrel. Could be. I have not done any medical examinations on the squirrels in the backyard. Ryan, haven't checked into it. But that one is having a meal. He's been there for at least like 5 minutes, right? Just going. Randy is moving the ball. Randy and Vandy moving the ball. I do wonder here. The quarterback situation, I think we all assume Collins is leaving, right? We can all agree. Like, if Collins is on the team next year, that would just be a bizarre situation for all involved. And you think you're going to have Angeli for starter for the next couple of years. But who knows? Who knows? All right, so a quote from Fran's press conference. Fran says Ricky was given the option to run more today after not seeing things down the field. Just something they wanted to do today to give him a chance to make plays. Yeah, and here's the thing. Like, that's great and all, but Ricky's not a bad athlete, but I don't think Ricky's an elite athlete. Like, he's a good athlete. He's a solid runner, but he is not just a get out and scoot guy. Like, Garrett Schrader was faster than Ricky Collins, right? He's certainly bigger, a more powerful runner than Ricky Collins. Like, he's not a speedster. He's not slow. I don't want to say he's slow, but it's not like he's not the guy that was on the other team this year. Like, Haynes King has running instincts. Ricky Collins wants to be a pocket guy. Where's George DeLeon when you need him? How dare you speak of those not with us, Casey fan? I don't know. Like, what do we want to see for the rest of the year? Yeah, it's a great question. Because, to your point, Randy, in an NIL era, when people can leave, like, anytime, anywhere, it looks like Jacobian Morgan. Jacobian, go figure, is out there in Jackson State this year as their starting quarterback. Like, the Carlos Del Rio Wilson succeeding, Jacobian Morgan succeeding. The world is upside down and backwards right now. Oh, man. If you could have Garrett Schrader with a healthy shoulder right now, how good would you feel about life? How good would you feel about life? Yeah, I think 5-7. At least you'd win your home games, right? 5-7 means you'd beat Carolina and BC. I mean, you wouldn't have a chance at a bowl game, but yeah, man, losing to Carolina next Saturday. Talk about officially. Or I mean, next Friday, Halloween night. Talk about officially turning the page to basketball season. Like, the basketball exhibition games are tonight and then Wednesday. We'll do post games for both. Then football is Friday. We'll be here. But then, like, basketball will. So if you lose to Carolina, basketball starts for real before you play again. So that would be interesting. This squirrel's still just getting it down there. This squirrel's just down there, just eating. No birds have happened. We'll go back to it if I see any birds in the backyard. Carolina's getting better. Carolina's getting better. I mean, it was 17-16 today. Yeah, Carolina's getting less worse. Carolina is terrible. Syracuse right now is terrible. Like, I'm not guaranteeing an orange win next week, but that could be a UGLY football game on Friday night. That could be really ugly. 7-1 with a healthy Garrett Schrader. I wonder, like, what? Let's play it out this way, which obviously is a more realistic conversation. What do you think the record would be right now if Angeli didn't get hurt? What do you think they'd be right now if Angeli didn't get hurt? So Collins has started 4 games. The Duke what were the games? Duke, SMU, Pittsburgh, and today, Georgia Tech. I think Angeli healthy. The Duke game, all right, Duke played really well. It would have been way closer. I'll give it to Duke. Angeli healthy. I think SMU didn't show me much. I think Syracuse would have won that game. The Pitt game, I think they win. Today, much closer. I'd give today probably a 1-score loss maybe with Angeli. So you're sitting here at 3-5. You'd be 5-3 is the way I'd flip it. You could argue 6-2. Yeah, I'd say Pitt and SMU would be the ones I'd certainly flip. And then, today, if you get off to that start, like maybe you get on the front foot and you're just controlling it. But I'd give them the SMU and Pitt games. Regardless of the record in the last 4, it would certainly still be much more visually compelling. But now you're sitting here, even if you're 4-4, you're sitting here like you're fine. You're still playing engaging football, and the season is going kind of the way we all thought, right? Like, we knew it wouldn't be as good as last year, but you're in it. You're in the mix. It's a tough schedule. We get the whole deal. And now it's just like, meh. Like, Georgia Tech's really good. Do they still probably lose the game today? Yeah, but I think it would have been with a competent offense, which realistically that's all you need is Angeli at this point. I think you have a very compelling football game. I think that would have been a very watchable football game. Like, I think that would have been let's see, it ended up 41-16. Flip the quarterbacks, but, Georgia Tech, okay, maybe it's 34-30. I don't know. I think it's a very watchable football game today that we are all, like, really engaged in the entire football game. I think it would be a really compelling football game. You look at the SMU game, SMU didn't knock my socks off. Like, I think Syracuse can win that game. The Pitt game last week, Pitt was reasonably trash. Like, they kept getting set up with interceptions, shorts field, and whatever. That Pitt team did not impress me. With a competent quarterback play, you win that football game. And I get it. The schedule's really hard. You still have Miami on the road. You still have Notre Dame on the road. I'm not saying they would have been 10-2 or anything crazy. But, man, even the losses, the conversations we'd be having right now would be so different, right? Because, the pressure's off the defense a little bit, and they've started playing better here, I think, the last couple of weeks. Dr. Blitz, Don Brown. That I think the conversation around it would be the one we hoped we were having at the beginning of the season. That would be like, man, this schedule is brutal, but they are on the path to get through this year, hopefully get a bowl game, and then have a really good year next year. Because you could see looking at it as a 2-year plan. And I think that reasonable Syracuse fans accepted that. They knew last year was a bit of an outlier. They knew Fran was headed in the right direction. They knew this year was going to be harder. But if you had the quarterback, at least the building blocks are going in a way. They're like, all right, I see what's happening here. Now it's like, what are you building at this point? Because that squirrel is still out there. That, like, what are you building? What are you building? That's the thing. Like, and I'm not saying, like, Angeli, I'd say Angeli was an above average quarterback so far. And I know he statistically had some good games, but even Angeli McCord. Like, McCord was stupid good last year. Angeli was just making some quick, smart reads. He wasn't doing anything crazy. He wasn't making, like, wild arm talent throws or any of this stuff, but he was playing just good, solid football. And then that's gone. I mean, it's wiped away. It's gone. And then, like, what do you do? Like, what do you do when you lose that? And we're seeing, like, the hope is you have a backup quarterback that can keep you in it, and Syracuse does not. And I don't think it's a whole lot more complicated than that right now. Because if you have Angeli healthy, I'm not saying they win today, but is Ricky the worst quarterback in the ACC? I have not done enough ACC study this year. Who's Carolina got? Like, I know Carolina, like that Gio Lopez dude who was starting at the beginning of the year for Carolina. Is he still starting? He was trash. BC is terrible. Their quarterback situation can't be very good right now. Yeah, I don't know if I mean, Dave Pasch said it during the game today at some point that, like, Ricky's leading the league in interceptions. He started half the year. Let's see. What other quarterbacks do we have in this league? Let's see if we can find some ACC. There's so many teams. Like, who's Stanford's quarterback right now? I don't know who Stanford's quarterback is right now. I don't know who Stanford's quarterback. I don't know who Cal's quarterback is right now. I know Cal's quarterback last year just scored 8 million points again today for Indiana. I don't know who their quarterback is right now. Okay, where the ACC's website is dependably slow. All right, links. Yeah, I would like some stats. I would like this year's stats. Yes, please. Please and thank you. Okay, we're loading. Passing. No, I don't want team stats. I would like leaders. Yes, I want passing. It's very fitting that the ACC website. This is the ACC right now. Here's the ACC right now. The ACC, a league that has 17 teams playing football, only lists the top 15 leaders in passing on their website. There we are. You can't name more than one quarterback from 2020. Tommy DeVito. Randy. 2020 was DeVito. Rex would still have been there. Culpepper. DeVito, Rex, Jacobian, I think, was the quarterback room in 2020. I think was the majority of the quarterback room that year. It's really hard to look at the worst quarterbacks when they're only listing the top 15 quarterbacks in passing yardage here. Darian Mensah, Duke, he's good. Kevin Jennings, SMU, good. Miller Moss, Louisville, good. C.J. Bailey, NC State, solid. Klubnik and Clemson, all right. Cal's quarterback is Jaron Kiowu Sagapalute? All right. He's 6th in the league in passing. Carson Beck at Miami, all right. Robbie Ashford at Wake is okay. Dylan Lonergan. Do I hear dogs barking? That's I still have the audio on for the backyard cam. That must be my neighbor's dog. You're talking the pandemic year? 2020 was the pandemic year, Randy. That was the pandemic year, 2020, the year they went 1-10. DeVito was the starting quarterback. The way quarterback sucks, okay. He's just his passing. How are they ordering this? Where'd it go? They're ordering it by passing efficiency. Ashford is 8th in the league in pass efficiency, for whatever that means. I'm not familiar with Dylan Lonergan's game at Boston College. Is that the guy they brought in place of Castellanos? Chandler Morris at Virginia. Castellanos. Stanford has some guy named Ben Gulbranson. Because this all tells you about what passing efficiency. Hayes King is 13th in the lead in passing efficiency. Come on. Enough with that. Yeah, I don't know. He's in the conversation for sure. He's in the conversation, it's sure. Yeah, the birds. The birds are distracting me. I don't know. It's tough. But the problem is, like, no matter what you do at this point, unless Carney is just this magical gamer or whatever, you toss a Rich Beelan in there and he's some magical just gamer, like, then you don't have a shot. Like, Garrett Schrader was a gamer. Like, Garrett Schrader did not beat Tommy DeVito for the quarterback job in practice because he couldn't show his running ability in practice. Once he got into the game, he showed what he had that DeVito did not. For that offense at that time with Tucker with a decent line that year, like, he showed what he had. And realistically, yeah, Carney doesn't have to be magical. Here's the thing, MD. They took him out of the game on 3rd and 9 last week and put Collins back in. They wouldn't let him throw a pass on 3rd and 9. That's weird. Like, what are they telling us? Like, they are telling us that that he's not prepared to throw a pass on 3rd and 9? That's bizarre, right? It was very bizarre. Yeah, I don't know what the locker room thought is on Collins. And here's another interesting part of this. Because players on a team don't care. I mean, they do, but they like, players on the team don't want to think they're developing the team for next year, right? Like, you're in a football game, you want to win the football game. You want to play well, you want to win the football game. Like, you want to win that day's football game. Like, the players today weren't thinking about, all right, how's this going to set the table for 2026? The players on the team know who the best quarterback is, right? They know. Like, I always remember back to the year Terrell Hunt took over the job. What was that dude that came in from Oklahoma? Drew something? In 2013, the Drew something came in from Oklahoma. Drew Allen from Oklahoma. And, you know, he was, you know, big dude, looked the part. Like, he looked the part. I was out at practice. I'm like, the Terrell Hunt's a better player. Like, Terrell Hunt does stuff. And you could tell by and obviously Terrell had been there, and this was not the portal era, so it was a little bit different. This was just a grad transfer. But you could tell the team preferred Terrell. But Allen was going to start whatever. Then he didn't play well in 2 games. Terrell got the job and never looked back. And unfortunately, injuries ruined his last 2 years. But you could tell in that situation, like, the team knew who the best guy was. And then when the best guy got put in the game, it all rallied around that. The team might know, like, it's possible Ricky Collins is the best guy, right? Like, it's possible Ricky Collins is the best guy. And the best just isn't good. The team may know that, like, well, he's the best guy. When you put guys into the game that aren't the best guy, teams don't like that. And so I don't know. I just don't think you got a lot of good choices right now. And that's a big problem. Yeah, Drew Allen was not good. He looked like a quarterback. There have been few people that have come through the Syracuse football building. Like, Drew Allen, of Syracuse football players this century, looked more like an NFL quarterback than any of them. That guy looked exactly like what an NFL quarterback is supposed to look like. Yes, JR? That's funny. Drew Allen looked like an NFL quarterback more than anyone that's ever looked like an NFL quarterback. The problem was he was terrible. He was not good. Yeah, that's what Forever Orange Girl, I think that's an excellent point. And I look at my beloved, eternally frustrating New York football Giants right now when it comes to this. The Giants have tweaked their offense a little bit to put in some of the principles that Jackson Dart used at Ole Miss to get him in comfortable spots so he could play with some freedom and have success. I was not watching, private school Texas football. I don't know about you. I didn't watch a single game of Luke Carney's in high school. Yeah, I've seen online clips, whatever. I don't know what his deal is. I don't know it, but he had a deal, and I think that's a really good question. Can you take just a few little things, even if it's not what you do or you want to do, and combine it with what he knows and put it on the field in a way that works? Yeah, because he did start for, like, he was a 4-year starter in Texas, and I don't know if anyone knows that they care about football just a little bit in Texas. And I've said this going back to last week. I said it during the week, and I'll say it again now. I hate this idea. I do not like starting one quarterback and then giving another quarterback a series and going back and forth or whatever. Yeah, does Bernie Custis have any eligibility left? Where's Gerhard Schwades? Let's get him. I think at this point, all right, if Ricky's the starter, Ricky's the starter. Whatever. Give Ricky the first 2 series next week, next Friday night against North Carolina, and then have 2 just really, really designed series for Carney to just get him on the field and put him in the best possible situation just to see. Just to see. Because we're in a tough spot right now. This is tough. You're losing the fan base. It'll be one back easy enough if you win games next year. I think we all know that. And it's basketball season. It's tonight and all those things. Fran, to my knowledge, understanding, what I'm seeing is not losing the locker room. So that's good. But you've got to do something to try to keep the guys engaged here for the rest of the year. Got to do something, man. Because this ain't fun. This ain't it. This is no good. This is no good. This is no bueno. This is no anything. This is nothing. It's not good, not fun, no good. Yeah, what other former quarterbacks? Where's Todd Philcox at? Unfortunately, Mitch Match, we don't have access to a Fran press conference for road games. That is not something that gets streamed live anywhere that we can get ourselves. Let's check on some Twitter accounts that may have reported some Fran Brown post-game comments. All right, WAER Sports. What do we got, WAER? Some Fran Brown quotes that I will now, from WAER Sports' Twitter account, I will read them to you. Quote 1, Fran Brown. In life, there's a lot of work, and you don't get to be successful without a lot of work. We just have to keep going. End quote. Quote 2, on playing some of the younger guys. Quote, I wanted to play some of those guys before the game even started. They're figuring out the academics and now some of the football. Period. End quote. On Collins with 14 rushing attempts. I just wanted that to be one of his options. He had it that way so he could if he couldn't see down the field. Okay. On Haynes King. He's a leader. Seems to take after Coach Key. Happy that we got to compete against him. If he's not competing on Sunday, he'll be running a company or something. Okay. Fran Brown. Quote, we know there's a bright future ahead of us. For us, it's always like the Power Rangers or the Transformers. Okay. Our head Power Ranger went down with Steve. We have to keep working. We'll keep working. We have to work. He went Mighty Morphin Power Rangers on us? Okay. He went the Power Rangers. Is there a head Power Ranger? I never watched the Power Rangers. I always thought they were like they're wearing costumes. I thought they were all of equal ability. Was there a head guy? And that's it. Fran ended on Power Rangers. I don't know. Bob Woodruff, the ABC correspondent. So there we are. Little Fran Brown quotes. I don't know. I think Shia LaBeouf at quarterback. Yeah, who can we get? Who's got? Somebody said Andrew Robinson earlier. Andrew Robinson still has 2 of like the top 10 passing days in the history of Syracuse football. It's bonkers. I feel bad. He was actually a decent enough player, but the offensive line was so atrociously bad then, and G-Rob was so bad that Robinson just got so beat up. He got hit so much, it just broke him. Ruben! What's up, Ruben? Oh, man. Again, a reminder, if anyone wants to check in with a video call, we do have that option available. It's available. Link pinned to the top of the old chat. And if I figure out where I left the tab, I can see if anyone's there. There's nobody there right now. That's okay. But you got a few more minutes. We'll hang out a few more minutes now. We'll be back at 9-ish. Yeah, I haven't lost trust in Fran yet, Ruben, but I think this is all telling us how's Fran going to deal with adversity. And frankly, I've liked generally how he dealt with it last year. Then he had that weird bump in the road, like the people asking him about jobs and quarterbacks. I didn't like how he dealt with it then. Since then, I think he's dealt with it okay, publicly, but you don't have a quarterback, therefore you lose. Oh, man, yeah, that Louisville game. Brian Brohm. That game was bonkers. That game was beyond bonkers. And then, remember San Diego Q? So the Brian Brohm Louisville game, that was 2007, G-Rob's third year. What was that, like game 4, game 5, game 4, game 3 of the season? They had lost 2 crappy games to begin the year. It looked like it was just going to be another long death march of a year. You go down to Louisville. Louisville's ranked. You were 28-point underdogs or something crazy. You win the game. Robinson threw for 8 million yards. Brian Brohm threw for like 500, almost laid a crazy comeback. And just when G-Rob gave us like just he gave us just this much hope. Just like maybe they'll figure it out. The next week, they went to Miami of Ohio, which is legit in the middle of freaking nowhere. Like we flew into Cincinnati, which is like 45 minutes from there. It is in the middle of like a pasture. And somebody bumped my rental car in the parking lot, but I had the full insurance, so it was okay. That game was the worst football game I've ever seen in person. It was so bad. And then I was once again like all hope vanished. And then G-Rob still coached for another season and a half. And it just kept going and going and going. So it is with thoughts of that game that I'm able to put days like today and the last month in a little perspective as a Syracuse observer. I can always go back to the depths of the darkest days and think of being in Miami, Ohio in late September of 2007, wondering how we got there. And it all just fell apart. Cloud World commentator. I'm sure this will follow with insight. If they don't have a winning season in 2026, Fran isn't the guy. Can't give a coach more than 3 years anymore. Kirk Cignetti proved you can build a monster in 1 and 2 years. Kurt's also doing it with Big Ten Case. He's also really good. Fran won 10 games last year, so I'm willing to give him a little grace for this season. Not going well. Recruits in the future. Any chance? Sure. Got chances for everybody. Syracuse, why not? Make it happen. Anybody can come. Oh, man. Yeah, our guy, George from Memphis, who tweets at me a lot. I don't know if George has found this. Is George, are you there in the chat? He just tweeted. And we talked about this earlier. There's a dimension of this QB mess nobody talks about. We did talk about it a little. Is the NIL. I do wonder, and promises made to Collins. That said, we already know, based on what happened to start the season, that he wasn't promised a starting job because they brought in a different starting quarterback. Oh, man. Oh, yeah, the uniforms back in the day. Everything about the Greg Robinson era is best forgotten. Say for a few great players, like Mike Williams is there, Taj Smith, he can play. Like, they had some dudes on those teams that just was completely incompetent coaching. Just total incompetence. Hey, here's a name. Here's a name that'll ruin your day. I don't like to keep these things to myself. Remember the first-year offensive coordinator for Greg Robinson, who had been the Broncos tight ends coach, Brian Periani? Yeah, your day's ruined now. Now you can think about Brian Periani with me. Wear it. You're right, Clown World commentator. Indiana is historically one of the worst power whatever football teams ever. They've never been any good. Same with Vanderbilt, right? Like, what's Vanderbilt doing right now? The score is not on the screen. Is Vanderbilt winning? They're losing 3-0. But Vanderbilt is number 10 in the country right now. College game day was at their campus today, and it was not a pity trip. Like, this is a massive game today. Like, in this era, it can happen. Though the main thing, you look at those teams, Vandy, SEC, Indiana, Big Ten. Don't look at Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech's 8-0 right now. Georgia Tech's 8-0. No, we named G-Rob, Tim. R.I.P. But we name him because you need to remember the past. We need to remember that days have been darker than this. We had a 4-year period that was so dark you want to forget it. But on a month like this, which has been horrid, we must remember it gives us a little balance in the space. Oh man. Oh no, don't start with Weitzman, Mike. Don't start with Weitzman. He wasn't saving it either. Let's not start with that. You are in the wrong place for that. One of these awards is for me yelling about that. One of them's for that. All right. Good crowd hanging out here after that trash game. Thank you all for hanging out here for a while. I think unless anybody else has anything, we'll do a motion to close up proceedings, and then hey, don't forget this, people. Don't forget this at all. We'll be back. What are we? It's 4:41 right now. I'll be back right here, like same bat place, different bat time because it'll be later. Be back here 9-ish. We'll do a little basketball post game tonight. Maybe a little exhibition basketball. We'll perk up all of our spirits, huh? Hopefully, because not that I read too much into exhibition basketball results, but oh my goodness, if they go out and don't look good tonight and struggle with a 9-win Buffalo team from last year, we might lose it a little bit later tonight. All right, people, great crowd. Thanks for hanging out here for the last hour. Go do whatever you're gonna do until 7:00, then watch the game, and we'll reconvene here coming up later tonight, around about 9:00 for a post game for the basketball game. Thanks for stopping in and chopping it up after that. Just terrible performance by the Arch. All right, everybody. We'll talk again later.